What's up, guys? Sub-Zero here, back for another VOD review. Today we're doing a VOD review of Appies. We did one of him, I don't know, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks ago. Quite high elo player, 1400 LP if I make my camera disappear right now. So he is way up there on the ladder. And if this is your first Appies VOD review, he's definitely a flex player, a player who cooks sometimes. This game is not going to be so much of a cook, I would say, but it's a comp that I wanted to show off because I was sitting in someone's Twitch stream and realized that I don't think like everyone is aware that this comp exists and that you should be taking this augment pretty much every single time you are offered it. So we will get into it the second that we see the augment selection, but yeah, I don't know, I guess I'm just teasing you guys right now. Smart play from Appies here to make 10 gold. He doesn't have a great opener, so he knows that it's potentially going to be an open fort from him here, and the set can just solo out 1-4. I don't think, I mean, because he has a 3 cost, I'm actually curious, because most 1 cost can't solo out, no 1 cost can solo out 1-4, I believe. Prismatic opener here, so we're going to roll. Cybernetic Bulk is a really solid one, but we get the option here, Twin Terror. So if you guys aren't familiar with this augment, I'll pause here quickly so that you can read it. But essentially, it's like Double Trouble from previous sets, where if you have 2 units on the board, they both get bonus. Exactly 2 units, by the way, so you can't have more. They get 350 HP, 35% attack speed, and 35% crit strike chance. Also, when you 3-star a unit, you get another copy of them, so, you know, you can play for this sort of like... it just allows you to play for it, basically. Appies actually isn't going to full open here. He's going to hold on to this set here and just pre-levels it, actually. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, just go for the pre-level here, because when you're playing this comp, it mostly revolves around Twitch. Twitch and Pantheon are the 2 units that you're going to be playing as your sort of core with this Punk core, and then you're going to want to get Executioner in, and boom, there's the Twitch immediately. So I think Appies knows. Yeah, he's pretty happy about that. He knows immediately that that he has a pretty decent opener for it. Executioner Twitch is the preferred Twitch in this comp, because of the fact that, you know, Punk Twitch will just allow you to play 3, like eventually 4 Punk, but you don't really want to play into that. Executioner Twitch, one, it gets Executioner online immediately, so you don't have to worry about, you know, waiting until you get like a Vex, because that's going to take a while. It also allows you to play for 4 Executioner, which is a much bigger spike. Well, it's really just that the units are better. You know, you're Executionering for, you know, 4 units that sort of like actually matter. You know, for like the Twitch pair, and eventually it's gonna be like Vex pair. Whereas, you know, like if you're punking, you know, like a Jinx, it doesn't really do anything. Also, you have to play a Jinx on your board. Executioner, at least you play a Karthus or something. Interesting that Appies plays the Jax here. I would imagine you're supposed to play double Olaf here for Twin Terror value. I guess the value is not the most on him, but I mean the attack speed should be good. Yeah, I'm surprised he doesn't play double Olaf here, and he values Mosher higher than the double Olaf here, but yeah, either way, it's fine. Item-wise, we had an open Last Whisper, I believe, which is a pretty solid item in this comp. Red buff is also really nice. Sword items can also be really good, so I'm not shocked about him picking up a sword here and potentially going for an IE. Yeah, I think in this comp, you definitely want just attack speed, and crit is basically just everything. Pick up a Pantheon here, which is really nice, because that means we can start getting those Punk rerolls going, because so far we haven't actually rolled it all with Punk. We didn't have Punk in. And you definitely want to be rolling every turn with Punk when you're playing a comp like this. He's actually going to play 1 Lily here. Yeah, not even like the double Lily. He's just going to be play for Guardian here. And yeah, like I think the IE Slam makes a decent amount of sense. He's not going to make it this round because it's not actually going to do anything, right? IE here, it's not going to kill a single extra unit, so we might as well keep these components open. But yeah, red buff is really solid on Twitch, because when he throws his cast and then it explodes out, it hits a bunch of extra units. Less Whisper is also not a bad option, just because he's going to shred all of those units, so that's pretty solid as well. Yeah, really just like AD, a little bit of attack speed, but not too much. Something like a Gwynsu tends to be pretty poor on him. You're already getting attack speed and crit from Twin Terror, so you don't really need too much more of that. You really just want like the AD, but the fact is that like you already get the AD from Twin Terror, so it's like, yeah, you really just kind of build whatever on this Twitch, and then just tank items on your Pantheon. He's gonna be your main tank for a while. One thing I'm really curious about this game is to see when Appies rolls, because there's sort of 2 schools of thought with rerolling in this comp. You could roll at 6, so you have a higher odds of hitting Twitch and Pantheon, or you can opt to wait a while and just roll on 7, because that gives you higher odds of finding stuff like Vex, like a Mumu, which is what you're going to be playing for like late game. So I'll be interested to see how Appies actually plays around this. It's funny, he's actually got the super fan opener in right now, which is cool. Home with 7 units in, it's a little sus. You definitely ideally like to get, I mean, you really want Executioner and Punk, and that's about it, I would think. Yeah, we're gonna roll a bit here, and we're just using our roll here. We get double Twitch in, surely. And yeah, gonna continue to play this board here. Still don't have the double Pantheon, which is a little scary. Yeah, getting down to 6 doesn't seem so bad. Like, Guardian, I guess, is passable, but you're really just gonna be playing the 2 Guardians. So yeah, if you don't pick up Executioner here, it's gonna be kind of sus. And yeah, like I was talking about, you see Appies makes the Last Whisper, solid item on Twitch here. And yeah, the Protector's Vow is actually really, really nice on Pantheon, so that he can just get that early cast off and give himself that damage reduction, because it's so important for, you know, keeping Pantheon alive. You could always take I mean, Vampirism seems like a really solid option here. You could always, though, if you really want to go for it, take Pandora's there, and then you can reroll the emblem if you hit something bad, but I don't know. It would be nice to know what we're getting here, because yeah, we get kind of a bunch of garbage. Like, I don't know how you can even play around this. I guess you could take, like, Country and play, like, Samira plus what? I don't know. Yeah, this is kind of Samira plus Thresh, right? But it's, like, a little bit hard to even find room for the Thresh, so he's just going to grab the Super Fan emblem. Is this going to be super... This is, like... This is woke. This is woke for sure. Like I said, I thought this was not going to be too much of a cook game, but with Superfan Emblem, Appies is definitely already cooking. I mean, it's the best one on his board right now. It allows him to just get Superfan in for free. So he's just taking whatever works on his board, and he's just going to stick with that for now. But yeah, I thought, you know, Twin Terror, you're always going to play the same board. No cooking necessary here, but I mean... Look at this, we're playing Twin Terror in this comp, or we're playing Superfan in this comp, which is kind of hilarious. Yeah, he's gonna get 4 Guardian here. Yeah, the whatchamacallit, the Mordekaiser wasn't really doing too much for our board there, so we're just gonna play this, which is definitely a stronger board. And yeah, you can make the Vow Slam under most circumstances. I would imagine you would make it here because the Senna is kind of scary, but maybe you see that this guy's frontline kind of sucks, so like you don't really worry too much about it. I don't know, the Senna is scary. He's gonna kill a lot, but we are gonna win the fight. Okay, but yeah, our Twitch items so far are great. We already have Shred. Or I guess is Sunder the one that's armor. We already have Sunder. We don't have Healing Reduct yet, which is something that we would like to pick up at some point. I wonder if we're going to keep this Superfan in for like late game. He's just going to pick up the Vex here with the Chain Vest. I don't know if it's going to be a Bramble Vest. It could be Bramble. I kind of like something like Protector's Vow a lot, but maybe he's going to go with something like Bramble Redemption. Second Pantheon there is really nice because now we can dupe up those guys. Wow, just a Vex 2 for free is not bad at all. You probably want that to come on your board. The problem is now we're... you know, gonna end up sort of like getting out of Superfan if we want to like play onto this Vex here. And yeah, he's just gonna make the Bramble there. He says it's good enough in this lobby. The thing about Pantheon is that he gives himself damage reduction. So in the same way that like crit scales with AD, damage reduction scales with how much resist you have. You know, like flat or, you know, like percent damage reduction. It scales with resist and it scales with HP. So if you get a Pantheon that has a ton of resists and then a ton of HP from Vampirism and from Punk, then you could be in a really good spot. Oh my god, the Twitches are just flowing beautifully. We almost have Twitch 3 just from our free rerolls. That is not bad at all. I mean, that's what happens when you're uncontested and when you start the game with the headliner. But yeah, I mean, this is a pretty fortunate roll for the comp, so it'll be nice to see how well this comp can do under near ideal circumstances. The only thing that's kind of not ideal is the fact that we have a random Superfan spat, which I have to imagine we're going to get out of later because the Twin Terror value is just going to be too big not to go for. But we'll see. I'm really curious to see how this board evolves, because right now, I mean, this 4 Guardian setup where you just play the Nico and the Kennen, like, it makes a lot of sense. It doesn't seem too bad. And yeah, he makes Nico too. So maybe we're going to be playing some kind of super fan version instead of like the normal version that you would play. And yeah, we're just going to play these 4 units, use the 4 Guardian with super fan. That's going to give us our last Twitch item, and then we can start moving towards like getting Vex in and other stuff in at level 7. Yeah, that's Twitch 3, right on time. Now we can look to level for Vex, probably next level, just because we're a little bit poor. No, he's just going to go for it here. Yeah, I mean, he does have Streak to play for, so yeah, he's just going to try to keep Streak here. He still gets to make 20 gold here, and yeah, just play the Vex here, and then it'll be interesting to see how much he rolls or doesn't roll at level. I mean, you do really want to find like Pantheon 3 and other stuff like the Amumu 3, so it's hard to just like push levels in this spot, but you also really would like to push levels so that you can actually get some good Twin Terror value. I mean, all of these are solid combat augments. What would be like best in a spot? I really like to lean towards something like Martyr this late in the game. The percent damage increase is probably pretty solid because you don't have any kind of percent damage increase on your board right now, and the board is like semi front to back. And then Gifts for the Fallen doesn't actually seem bad either. It gives AD, AP, Arn, and Mar, which all scale really well with the Twin Terror stats. Maybe it's gifts. I don't know. I could see any of these being taken. I think they're all pretty solid. He's gonna roll over the gifts. I don't think it's crown guarded, right? I mean, the crown guard's a solid item on Pantheon, but we don't have any crown guarded components. It looks like he's going for contagion here, which is an augment that I think the stats don't like love it. Oh, infusion actually doesn't even. Yeah, infusion actually sounds kind of insane with Vex and with Twitch. We have no mana item on either of them, but if you can just get this Vex chain casting, especially if you can get Vex plus another Vex chain casting, I feel like you can just perma CC a lot of these melee boards and make the fights incredibly easy. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I'd love to go check the stats after this game. If this Augment Infusion has like a really solid win rate in this comp. He's holding on to the Annies potentially. I'm not really sure. I mean, surely we're not getting like 4 emo in. I imagine we're just chilling, maybe slow rolling on 7 if we get close to like Pantheon 3, because like if you go 8, then it becomes really hard to hit Pantheon 3. So you kind of want to find Pantheon 3 before going 8, I would think. But then like level 8 becomes Vex pair. You just have really solid backline with that, and yeah, he's just. I mean, it's a cool board. He just decided to add 2 Guardian to this board. He's sacking Prismatic Twin Terror just so that he can get 4 Guardian and a full item onto his Twitch, which is really nice here. I assume you go for Vex item here out of this bow, or you could just take a tank item. I was looking at the belt, but I guess the belt doesn't exist anymore. I wouldn't really want to go for something like a Static Shiv. He's going to go for the Pantheon with Rod. It's another Pantheon, and I don't know, maybe... I can't imagine it being a Guinsu, but yeah, maybe it's just like Crown Guard or something like that on the Pantheon and then bow item for Vex. I was looking at potentially like a Nashor's for Vex, though like she's already gaining so much mana from Adapticone from the infusion that like it's almost like awkward to give her even more mana, but I don't know. This Vex unit does so much CC with her spell. This unit is so insane, actually, especially in this comp. If you can get this Vex unit itemized late game, she will absolutely carry your late game. The Twitch, like, gets you to level 7 and, like, level 8 and stuff like that, but I feel like the Vex is really what carries your late game. And yeah, he's going to slow roll a bit on 7 just because at this point, we're only 3 off on Pantheon. We definitely want to find Pantheon 3 before pushing 8. And then on 8, I assume we can find, like, Vex and Amumu and stuff. So yeah, we'll hit Pantheon 3 and then push level 8. Ooh, this is almost a scary board, especially because of where our Vex is. If our Vex is on the other side, so seeing that entire board would be really, really nice. Okay, it turns out, though, that everyone ended up just, like, walking into where the Vex was CCing, so actually really fortunate. Also, really, I'm looking at this player's spot across the board from us. Really unfortunate. I think they have 2 duplicators, but they can't find a 3-star in this spot. Very scary for them. But yeah, Appy's going to go for everything 3-star on this board. He's going to look for potentially the Nico 3 as well, the Amumu 3, the Pantheon 3 is what we're looking for. Most... crucially right now. He'd like some tank items here. Yeah, not very many tank items here, so you're gonna have to make some kind of frontline item for Pantheon. I would think something out of this belt, maybe. And then I guess you could go something like a JGGS for Vex. I don't know. I'd really like to make some more some more tank items. You could reforge a component, like something like bow, but the problem is if it becomes... I don't know. I mean, most components would work okay. Like, if you get cloak, you go like a you could go like Ionic. I would probably end up reforging a component here because I really want a 3rd tank item onto Pantheon. But yeah, he's just gonna go for double bow here for the healing reduc, I guess, and he's just gonna push it to 8. Yeah, he's gonna go red buff here, red buff, Gunblade. But then what are the rest of our items? And then just Hodge here on the other Vex. He says, who cares about tank items? I'm just gonna go for insane damage on all my carries. I don't know, it's really, really scary, I feel like, having this this Pantheon with 1 tank item be our only source of tankiness, but, I mean, like I was talking about earlier, Vex is just a beast, so, I could certainly see this being right. Just go for your Vexes fully itemized and say, you know what, I'm gonna have enough tank stats just from the CC that I'm getting from Vex, honestly. He also, he decided to level there, not roll on 7 to find Pantheon 3. He wants to just go 8, get the spike from getting the Twin Terror Vex in, and then he's just trusting that he's going to be able to find this Pantheon on 8, which 25% odds of finding a 2 cost, it's relatively reasonable. And yeah, I mean, the Gunblade from Vex is helpful. I think the red buff was a really good call out from Appy's deciding that, like, yeah, he needs some kind of healing reduc on this board. He's not going to be able to survive if he, like, this late into the game if he just doesn't hit some kind of healing reduc. So yeah, the red buff is a really smart call out. And then the Gunblade plus Hodge. I mean, in some ways, Gunblade is more frontline because she'll heal up your frontline, and then just the Hodge because it was sort of like leftover at the end there. And it's not bad on Vex, right? She has Executioner, so her spell can crit. She's got the extra crit, so, you know, the extra crit from Hodge isn't like wasted or anything like that. Gonna finally, well, I would say finally, but he took a loss kind of earlier. Gonna take a loss there. I assume we're gonna go for a tank item here, either this Protector's Vow Redemption. If he went for like a Death Cap here, oh my god, he might actually go Death Cap here. He's like, yeah, he's like, maybe? Wow, I gotta look at some more VODs of Appy play this comp, but it looks like he thinks tank items are just like quite fake in this comp. And that like, who needs tank items when Vex is just one-shotting the entire board? I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? Vex is CC and an insane amount of damage. So by the time the Vex CC wears off with these double Vexes, the fight is like kind of already over in a lot of circumstances. So like he's just playing for these really quick fights where Vex CCs the important targets and then just one-shots them. And he doesn't really care about how tanky his frontline is because his frontline isn't being hit for a lot of these fights. Pretty cool line here where he just says, yeah, tank items don't really matter in this comp. Who cares about like a 3-item Pantheon when you can just have like 6-item Vex pair? Gonna continue to roll down here. I would probably be tempted to dip under 50 gold here and dip into 40s to find Pantheon 3 here, but Epi's just gonna hold the line, be steadfast, and not roll here. He's like, you know, like, I don't really need to in a spot like this. The nice thing as well is with like the Superfan emblem, like you're gonna have so many items this game, right? You didn't even need to go for a third Twitch item, so this allows you to itemize these Vexes so hard. And yeah, I mean, you see in a fight like this, though we might, yeah, we end up losing this fight, but the CC was really, really strong there. If this person wasn't Lux 3, then we would like easily win that, but the Lux 3 is just able to finish off our board in the end there. Another Vex is really, really big. Pantheon there is really, really nice. If we can hit Vex 3, then we are schmovin'. He just has to make sure to bench the right Vex so that the Vex doesn't get a random item from the Vex on the left, because that would be kind of sus. You know, what'd be really scary there is actually, ooh, okay, so yeah, yep. I mean, Appy's definitely, you know, someone who is aware of what's going on here. He is just going to bench the Vex, get the correct items, and then at this point, he's one off Nico 3. Level 9's also a really big spike. I guess we're just gonna go for Nico 3, and then, you know, level up, and then get, like, Nico pair in. We're pretty far off of a Mumu pair. We just never really hit the Amumus, but, I mean, very close to Nico, so we can just hit that. But yeah, look at all this CC, look at all this damage. The Vex doing an insane amount of damage. Who needs tank items in this spot? There's Nico 3. He's gonna use his roll because he kind of has to. He's also looking at potentially a Kali in, as, you know, for Executioner. Yeah, maybe that over double Nico here. Wow. I mean, he's looking at the units because, like, he could sell here and then just level for the Akali and be done with it. It's also true damage, which is, like, kind of funny. But yeah, I mean, it's a decent unit and he's holding on to it because he definitely wants to play it. But yeah, even, like, against a board like this, it's a little scary against a board like this, I feel like. But, I mean, he's going to stomp. Where, like, the CC is not reaching the backline. So, like, that backline can definitely you know, one-shot your frontline potentially. But I mean, now that he has Nico 3 and Pantheon 3, even though they're like no items, there's just like raw tankiness that these units add. Yeah, he is just gonna go for the 4 Executioner here. Thinks it's better than potentially second Nico. It's a huge spike in damage for all of our Vexes and our Twitches. And definitely with the setup where we're just itemizing our tanks, or our carries, yeah, just getting even more crit onto them is really nice. Assume a TG here would be insane. Okay, we can't pick that up. I mean, I have to pick up like a Stair Axe or something. Can't get that either. I mean, I guess blue buff, but yeah, like, who are you? You don't even have an open Vex component, so who are you even blue buffing here? I assume you would just put on like Pantheon or someone. You could also reforge it. He does a reforger. He reforges it. It's death cap here. The damage reduction is what scales with AP. So it goes from 45 here. I'd want to see him hover over it here because I didn't see exactly what the scaling was. To 54? I mean, it's 9% damage reduction. That's not terrible. It's not really amazing, but it's not the worst. We get the bug here where we can't see health bars, but it looks like Appy's board is winning. Yeah, his backline is on the enemy's backline. And yeah, so this might just be a win out. There is one person left in this lobby, and they're win streaking as well. Looks like Appy's has dodged them up until this point as well. So it's really just gonna be the fight of the win streak. It's so funny, the last 2 people alive being win streakers just because of how the fight RNG went. Generally, I think into melee boards, this comp should do pretty well. It's definitely better into something like Yone, where it has to just straight up walk up to you, whereas like Jax can still jump on you, so the CC doesn't matter as much, but it still matters a lot. And yeah, that's gonna be the win there. This person's 40 gold, but I don't really see how they can spike their board with just the 40 gold to win there. And Appy's, if he wanted to, he could just roll down all of his gold here and pump it into making his punks stronger, but he's looking at potentially maybe level 10 here, level 10 for like, I guess at this point, you can't play Pantheon pair or Nico pair because you've already sold them, so they won't appear in your shops anymore. But, I mean, he's got this Alawi. He could play for, like, Alawi. Dude, where? I mean, Appy's the one who didn't take any tank items, but it's still kind of insane that not a single takeable tank item here. Evan Trout is the best tank item in this spot because it gives a little bit of stats, but a little bit sad there for sure. He's just going to stay with this positioning here. Just has his carries pretty separated. And the big thing is keeping your tank separated versus this board so that, yeah, look at that. Jack spends a ton of time stuck on the front line. And wow, the Twitch actually made it to the Lux there, and it looks like it's going to be the dub for Appies. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is definitely a fun one, an interesting game for sure. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe, check out my Twitch, and all my other links down below. Thank you guys for watching.